We're in the outskirts of Geneva, Plan-les-Ouates, where many of the watchmaking industry's giants have their offices and workshops. We're visiting Frederique Constant, Alpina and Atelier de Monaco. Last year, Frederique Constant celebrated its 30th anniversary, and this year, just a few weeks ago, they opened an extension to their workshops, almost doubling their production capacity. It's mighty impressive to see how, in those 30 years, Peter Stas and his wife Aletta have built the brand from zero to what it is today, including 29 own calibers. We're going to talk to Niels Eggerdink, Managing Director of Frederique Constant Group, and we're going to talk about the present and the future of the brands.
So when I started was in 2012. I've met Peter in March 2012, and I always remember that I told my wife, if I have the opportunity to go to Switzerland, I will do. So I've met Peter. 2 weeks later I was driving with my wife in the car and he was calling me on my car kit. And he said, Niels, we've met, it felt good, would you like to have a meeting with me in Geneva? And my wife turned white. And because she knew that I would say yes. And after that we had several meetings, and that was the most attractive part. He showed me the path where he wanted to go with the company, with the brand, and where he needed me. And it was so inspirational that for me it was an easy decision. And my main task in that time was really integrate in the company, of course, the culture, because it's a specific culture, but driving sales. We had to create a team in the sales, international sales team, that really builds distribution more stronger, and that's what I did. It's already 3 years ago, officially now, exactly that Citizen acquires Frederique Constant Group. I was in that time Vice President Sales, so we had different companies external, so we had a subsidiary in the US, in Hong Kong, in China, Germany, Switzerland, even in the center of Switzerland, and France. My position in that time was really maximize growth, secure the point of sales, the quality at the point of sales, and gain market share. When Citizen came across, it was clearly that they leave us driving the brands independently, but with a strong support on distribution. I have to say, in that time I was working intensely with the US, a market that, for my opinion, we were just scratching the surface in that time. We had already 250, 300 doors. But the opportunity is massive in the US. I think Citizen brand itself is the #2 watch brand in US, if you take away the Apple Watch. But besides Rolex, it's really a big brand, 4,000 point of sales, 500 people working there. So you can see what kind of machine can run the brands for us. And that was really the main objective. Well, now the good thing is now we are 3 years ahead, and I can clearly see that Alpina has been strong traction in the US. In the UK, they have been opening in the past 2.5, 3 years in the US 300 doors for Alpina. You clearly see the strength of that organization. That would never been done by ourselves. You need some leverage, but also FC, Frederique Constant, is much more different taken care of now in the US, in China. It's a multiple distribution strategy they have in China. In the US, they put the leverage behind, and we opened there already with the UK, Italy, US, China and Japan, I think another 500 doors. So you can immediately see the progression we have been making by the synergy. We started to have the discussions with the positioning for me already in 2017, because Peter, and by then he sold the company as a founder, and he wanted to really position a successor after him that has the same DNA. I have been educated for, in that time, 5, 6 years by Peter, and he really felt complementaire in the other hand, but also very aligned in how we work. We are Swiss-based, but we simply have a very strong Dutch DNA in this company. Hands-on, flat organization, and he wanted to continue with that. The strength of Peter and Aletta has been innovating, has been protecting DNA, constantly look at the price and the product, good value for the price, and I think we continue doing that. We're even going to innovate more. In the coming years we have clearly projects scheduled that will bring the brand even to a higher brand awareness. But where we can see, it's good sometimes after a takeover and a successor comes in my position in this case, younger dynamics are coming in. Peter has worked for 30 years here, and he clearly opens up for me also to have the freedom to move. I really enjoy that. It's a different approach. I'm involving more the team, we're involving more the markets to discuss where the potential is and how to grow. This new factory was needed. First of all, 3 years ago we were constantly growing, and I clearly have seen in the past years some more struggle, but we also grow in volume. We needed more space. At the same time, we also wanted to have an experience built where people really understand watchmaking. With this experience on the ground floor, we explain what watchmaking means. We have been very successful with the brand, the story building with manufacture. So we do the conception, the design of the movement, we do the production and the assembling in-house. And here we have the capability to really explain this in detail. Moving forward, in the coming 5 years, we really see the aim of 250,000 units. Today we are producing 160,000 units. So it's a big potential for us, but also a challenge. We are not going to increase prices. Actually, I think we're even going to be more accessible with more luxury, with same pricing, but more better finishing. Now, upstairs we have now, where we previously in the old building had the T1, we called the production assembling, the assembling of the movement. We had it in the main floor, and now it moves up to the first floor, where we have a line of T1, T2, T3, and finally the straps bracelet T4 is in one line. So it's also more efficient, where it allows us to produce more and more efficient, more accurate as an outcome. If you go back 4 years ago, we launched the first horological smartwatch, Swiss-made hybrid version that in the first appearance is really a luxury product, a luxury watch, but it is connected. A year after we came with a new manufacture chronograph flyback complication. We have done the hybrid manufacture, what is two worlds together, so a manufacture timepiece with connected functionalities. In parallel, we even have produced a QP tourbillon, what is for us the most highly complication ever made for an extremely accessible price. So exactly in line what we want. But we don't stand still, clearly. In the upcoming 3 years, we have making a clear line what we want with expectations, and innovations in material is going to happen. In the movement of watchmaking, there we are going to drive much more innovations. And on the side also more on cases, where we see we have to adapt in some extent to the target group, to widen up, but to secure the DNA. I'm not going to tell you too much, because I think it still needs to be every year seen at Basel, and I am happy to invite you there. Alpina is a brand for us that started when I arrived relatively small. In that time, the production was maybe 7,000–8,000 units. I think this year we're going to aim even on 30,000 units production. The breakthrough has been last year with the Alpine Rigs, where the brand overall has a strong heritage of watchmaking. It has a much longer history, a much more richer history, as typically the Swiss sport watch, also pure watchmaking. Last year we have introduced the Alpine Rigs, that is a connected watch with hands, just a regular timepiece, but with a screen where you can see the UV measurement. So nowadays, skin cancer comes up as much more problem. The sun gets stronger, and with that measurement you can easily instantly see if you need to avoid the sun or not. The altimeter is built in. You can see, you track what you have run or walked together with the watch. What has been, I think, in the time where we live, an extreme push for the brand. Where we will go on with the brand, with Alpina in the coming years, is building distribution worldwide. We have a strong connection with the point of sales, and we have seen an extremely push with the brands upcoming year. We have been innovative enough in the coming 2 years for the brand too. So beautiful new timepieces will come up with much more connectivity products, with features that are unique, but also watchmaking. And it has the brand value in a price between 500 and 1,500 euro. That's the strength. And that's also an opportunity for a sporty brand, Swiss-made. To come back on the production capacity there and the expectations, I see the brand doubling in the coming 3 to 5 years.